There's no going back now.
1, 2, 3,
4, 5.
I love you. Gentlefolk, ladies and men, thank you for coming back to the couch. We're so happy to have you here today. We are talking a very exciting, very fascinating film. Continuing the Nick Cage playlist, and we're both we're cautiously approaching this one because I personally think I'm just like not gonna know how to talk about this movie. So
yeah, well,
it's very entertaining.
Well, then I'll do the synopsis when we get there.
I mean, I can definitely talk like the synopsis. I'm saying like just like describing this film is going to be difficult.
I gotcha.
It's gonna be a challenge to be like, okay, I need to paint this picture for you, and I'm not gonna be using colors that you understand. So, I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh,
and I am the Faceless Leone. This is a podcast about movies and TV, and we like to call it Green and Faceless on the Couch. I feel like I already said that, but I probably hadn't. And
I don't think
we're talking about Mandy. I don't know if I even heard about this movie.
Oh, yeah. I remember when it came out. I did not watch it. I remember the critics that I watch on the regular. I remember they were talking about it, and they were like, "Wow, this was unexpected." You know, it was like they all loved it. The people I watched that, I remember they all liked it, and they loved Cage's presence in it because it fits perfectly.
Yeah,
it really does.
Yeah.
And like, but at the same time, I don't remember them talking about it being so avant-garde and artsy. And so I was not prepared for it. You know, it's been 4 years since I listened to their reviews. So it's like walking in, I was just like, what the fuck's going on? Holy shit! Like, oh god.
Yeah, it is a strange one. I will say that it's not like super strange to start. Except for the cinematic feel, is, you know, that suspense is there to start, but it really doesn't like turn super topsy-turvy until hallucinogens are introduced.
I would say it's when Nick and his girl Mandy, when they smoke weed, like that's when it starts getting like
a little
bit heady.
They do a good job of matching the feel of the movie, the perspective of the movie, with the drugs that are introduced in the movie.
Yeah. The atmosphere is very well established by the director, Panos Cosmatos. I have not seen the other works by Panos Cosmatos, and I'm probably pronouncing your name wrong. I'm sorry, but the other movie that Wikipedia recognizes him for is Beyond the Black Rainbow. I haven't seen that, and I haven't watched Mandy until now. But he co-wrote it with Aaron Stewart on, and you know I think the story is pretty good. You know, it's kind of based off of like a Del Toro fantasy novel. Like it's not based on anything. It's very original, but the main character Mandy at the very beginning is reading a Del Toro fantasy novel, and she's like, "Yeah, I think this is like the best thing Del Toro's ever put out," and it definitely kind of comes across as you know, kind of like he read a lot of like Panos Cosmatos, the director and co-writer, had read a lot of like fantasy and was like, "I want to make this." And he made it. And nice. It's very intriguing. I will admit it is very entertaining, very intriguing. But I don't know how to like wrap my head around how I feel about it. Yeah, and that's today's journey is wrapping our heads around this.
I will say the same thing because I like it. I think.
Yeah.
So the important part is I think.
I think how it is like I like it. And I enjoy it a lot, and I want to recommend it, but I can't.
Yeah, I
think
know
that's
a
how
lot
it
of
is.
people are
Like,
going to be like, "What the hell is this?" I need to watch
yeah,
it again. I think is really
right.
pre-closing statement. This is my hypothesis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even just talking about it's gonna make me feel like I want to watch it again. So, like, as you said, like beginning it off, it's just kind of normal. It's
Yeah.
I don't even know if they ever mention what Nick Cage does for a living. Is he like
I think he might be in the logging industry.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, so I thought he was a logger of some sort. So
They took a
yes,
helicopter away from his work site. So I don't
that's
know.
right.
He could be some kind of rescue ranger kind of thing.
I feel like I remember logging. I think there was something in that, and there's a hint at like a traumatic backstory for both him and Mandy. Like
Yeah.
Mandy talks about who is Mandy? What is that? Is Andrea Riseborough?
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
And
Okay.
she is this she is pretty goth, and this is based in the 80s too.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And she is also an illustrator or an artist of some sort. I don't think they quite nail
Yeah.
it down what she's doing
Yeah.
exactly.
I think she's just an artist. Like I think she just sells artwork. But like I remember it's like to establish that they just show her painting this like really cool looking thing.
Yeah.
And Nick Cage just like walks in, he just like walks over and looks over her and she's like, "Whoa. That's really cool."
Wow.
And then he just stands there just like, "Wow." For like 10 seconds, and then the camera cuts and they go to the next scene. But it was so funny.
Yeah.
It was just like he didn't know when there. It was like, are you gonna call cut?
I will have to say, I felt that Nick was being fairly genuine. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I think he was doing a great performance.
Yes. I think this is a really good performance by him, but it still is Nick Cage being like, wow.
Yeah.
His
just
character's
doing
name
his
is
best, Nick.
Red Miller, by the way. And they
Yeah,
only
such a good name.
like they only call him Red like a couple of times. I feel like.
Right. Yeah, and Mandy, she works at a gas station. She's also a gas station attendant or whatever. Maybe it's a convenience store. I don't remember. But while she is walking home from work one day, I think she's walking home from work.
Yeah,
maybe she's walking to work.
Yeah,
somewhere. But this van passes her, and that's when things start to get really weird. That's when you get like the introduction of the what was the band? What was the group's name?
The Children of the Rising
New
Dawn. The New Dawn.
The New Dawn. Yeah,
New
Children of the New Dawn, a religious cult.
Yep.
Following this maniacal man named Jeremiah Sand.
Yes.
Played by Linus Roach. What a good name for a villainous actor.
Yes, definitely. Also, I feel like Linus' performance as Jeremiah is really good. But it is kind of like a textbook cult leader, though, as well.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely is, but I agree. His performance, it's kind of like a Twin Peaks styled, like David Lynch asked for performance.
Yeah, like I did start wondering if this was a Lynch thing.
Right, it kind of seems like a love letter to Lynch.
Yeah, for a little, for some of it, but also like just the blue and the reds. That's every scene is just blue and red, people, especially after they start taking the drugs.
Yeah. and that's his thing is the Jeremiah Sand and the Children of the New Dawn. They have this very potent, very, very heavy form of LSD. It's a liquid LSD that they pour into your eyes, a couple drops into your eye. I mean, you could just drop it in your mouth too, I assume, but like when they capture Mandy, which is what eventually happens, they put it in her eyeball, and that just like really fucks her up.
Yeah, it does.
And so Jeremiah in this van, where he's with a bunch of his people, they pass by Mandy, and she is just the most beautiful person in the world to him. Like he is just blown away by her. Yeah, he's mesmerized. And he informs his group he informs the children of the New Dawn. I want that woman. Bring her to me.
Yeah.
And so that's what sets everything in motion. Is just one night, Nick and Mandy are just at home doing their thing. Sorry, Red and Mandy. Red and Mandy are at home doing their thing. He is Nick Cage. He is not Red Miller. No, Red and Mandy are at home just sleeping, and in busts before that, the children of the New Dawn played a mystical ocarina and awoke these like I don't know what you call them, these monsters,
the
monster bikers
opened up the portal in Hellraiser for some reason.
Yeah.
And but it's Hellraiser's biker gang.
Yeah, it's so good. I love it.
I do. I love it too.
They come and they break into Red and Mandy's place, and they kidnap them after beating them up a bit. Well, they beat Red up a bit.
Yeah.
And then they kidnap them. And then Mandy is brought before Jeremiah Sand, and he does his like, I am a cult leader thing after he gives her LSD and everything right into her fucking eyeball.
Yeah.
He's just like, follow me. I am this. You can't have. I don't know what he's offering anymore, but it's like you can't have such and such, like an afterlife or whatever, unless you follow through me. Like only I can bring you into glory, that kind of bullshit.
Right.
And she just laughs at him. She kind of thinks it's funny.
Yeah,
and that pisses him off a lot,
especially after he plays his record.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about his band.
Yes, it's basically like, come follow me because I'm so good and kind and just the greatest. And she said, you wrote a song that's about you and how great you are? And then she just laughs at him.
And he's also standing naked in front of her with, his little flaccid penis there.
He was like, I will allow you to service me or something bullshit like that. And then he drops the robe. It's like this big, great act, and Roach does it amazingly. And then, she just starts laughing at him, and then he decides he's going to jerk off to it. It is just the strangest thing. Obviously, Jeremiah Sand has a lot of things wrong with him to
as do his followers
this to people. Yeah. Yeah.
Or his followers, maybe they don't have a lot wrong with him. Maybe they're just like, they took the acid and they're just too fucked up to turn away.
Right. Yeah. They're very suggestible at that point. Maybe they liked his album.
Maybe. I mean, it's all right. It's folky,
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not
great.
So
there is a couple of the cult members that are worth mentioning. So we have Ned Dennehy as Brother Swan. Mm-hmm. He is like Jeremiah's right-hand man. He gets things done. He's the one who calls the demon peoples. And then we also have... What's that?
I said he plays the ocarina.
He plays the ocarina real nice.
He's like, I'm Link.
That's where they came from. They came from the other time.
They were just Ganon peoples.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so the other one I wanted to mention was Olwen Foray. Probably said your name wrong, sorry. But she plays Mother Marlene. And she's like fairly older than the rest of the cult members and is super in love with Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is very strange performance, but man, she did it very well.
Yeah. That's the thing is, like, I wanted to call out Brother Swan and I wanted to call out her as well. The problem is, this whole movie is just a big acid trip. I couldn't remember who they were. I was looking at the whole cast and I'm like, I don't remember these people. Like, there's a guy named Carruthers, a guy named the chemist, Brother
either
Swan.
Red or blue. Like, you didn't actually get to know the color of anybody's face.
Right. Yeah, all the performances are just, okay, so like in a streamlined film, they would not be considered good, I guess. But in this kind of like avant-garde film, especially paired with Nick Cage, everybody does a really good job to make this feel consistent. So like this weird world that's constantly just shifting and changing, because what eventually happens is once she laughs at him, once Mandy laughs at Jeremiah, he's just like, all right, well, fuck her. They put her in a bag, they drag her out in front of Nick Cage, who is bound with
barbed wire.
What's the barbed wire? Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Like he's bound by his arms. Like his arms are above his head. He's hanging there. It's awful. You can see it cutting into his skin. Ugh. It's gross. And he also has it in his mouth too. He's gagged with it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's even like more like, oh, jeez. But then they burn her in front of Nick Cage. Sorry, big spoilers, but this is like the big premise of the movie.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's
inciting incident almost.
Yeah. And it comes like halfway to like 2/3 of the way through the movie. It's really weird. Well, I guess maybe more halfway than
I think it's closer
to
before the halfway mark. Cause
just a little bit before, though.
Yeah. Because Nick gets to go crazy for quite some time. Yeah.
And that's nice because they just leave him there too. Like once they do the dirty deed, they leave him there. He escapes the barbed wire. It kind of almost hilariously, like he goes inside. He's screaming a lot. He's mourning. He's drinking a lot. He drinks like an entire bottle of vodka in one shot. Yeah. And then he goes to sleep. And it's like, it's kind of funny, but then at the same time, you're like, yeah, he's tired.
Yeah,
he's bled out like crazy.
He got stabbed too. More spoilers. Yeah. They ruined his freaking Tiger t-shirt. I was so mad.
Yeah, he was pissed about that. I mean, it's realistic, kind of, that he would go to sleep. It was just when it happened, it was funny. Because all of this happened while he was on his tidy whities too, which is even like kind of more funny and upsetting, not just funny. Sorry, somebody did just die.
Yes, yeah, it is terrible. I'm sure he's just super in shock. Yeah, and he wakes up and he still is. Obviously,
but then it becomes then the entire rest of this is like a revenge fantasy. It's just Nick Cage going to town on the Children of the New Dawn and the monsters that they awoke. Right. What are they called? The Black Skulls, maybe?
I have no idea what they're fucking called.
It was the Black Skulls.
Good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they're just these weird monsters.
And they also have their own form of LSD. Their own form of LSD, they have visions of like hell and like nuclear holocaust and shit. And
Nick he just snorts that whole like line of cocaine and then takes their LSD and like his fucking face explodes.
And all he does is like take like one little dip of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's a great moment too, because like when it happened, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like I'm like, there are moments where I've watched movies when I'll say I have been very inebriated, and I can say that I was very happy I was not that inebriated for this film because that moment was wild.
Yes, it was. And it probably helped him in his rage towards the cultists and the other people. And I don't feel bad for these cultists or anyone that he kills. Besides the chemist, though, I don't remember if he killed the chemist or not.
Yeah, I don't remember what happened in that scene. I remember the entire build up at the beginning of the scene.
Yeah.
Up to the part where like he starts fighting. Like I don't remember where it goes. But yeah, the chemist was interesting.
The chemist was an interesting scene, and I want to see that scene again because there's definitely a lot of symbolism in that scene with his pet tiger. and I'm not sure that I quite get it. Besides the fact that Red is the tiger.
Yep. Yeah, I don't get it.
But
either.
Richard Brake plays the chemist, and Red doesn't say a single word in the entire scene. This guy just guesses at everything he's trying to get at, and part of it's wrong, part of it's right. He's just so freaking high. He thinks he's a telepath, and it's hilarious.
It's a fun scene. As are most of the revenge scenes. They're all very fun. There's one where it's a literal chainsaw duel, where it's like Nick Cage has a chainsaw and he's like comes around this like pile of rubbish and he's like, all right, let's fight. I'm trying to start a chainsaw here, and he's like pulling on the cord. Yeah. And then the other guy just kind of like laughs and then pulls out like a chainsaw that's 3 times as long as Nick's.
It's like a chainsaw great sword. I mean, they're obviously in logging country, but yeah, God, that's for like a giant tree.
It's wonderful. It really is. And they fight with it, and the whole scene is hilarious. And I don't know, it's weird because the first half is like a wild, just kind of like a drug trip. You know, the first half is just a normal drug trip. Right. And then it just takes off. Once the revenge fantasy happens, then it's just like your mind's blown. You're kind of just like you're melting a bit. You're just kind of like relaxed into the couch and just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna let this happen, I guess. Like, I don't know what's happening. I'm rooting for Red. I feel for Red. Yeah. You know, I've watched John Wick. I know how it feels. So like, you know, you're still rooting for it. But a lot of the shit he's doing is just absurdly wild that you're just like, dude, you need to get the fuck out of this.
Yeah. Yeah. He goes in deep, and lots of murders. And that's pretty much the whole movie. Yeah. Right and there. But it is a wild fucking ride. One
that I did enjoy.
Yeah, so earlier you said if we want to go ahead and get into closing statements with this. Yeah. One that you said earlier, what you had said earlier was that you're not sure that you can recommend this. I think while we were talking this, I do recommend it because goddamn, it is one hell of a ride. I mean, at the very least, you're going to be entertained by it, by the fact that you're not going to be able to look away. Like,
it's true.
Like, it is very, it draws you in. I do recommend it. And I give it a face. I think after I ended it, I was like, man, when I finished, I kept on going like this with this fucking movie after I finished it. When I first finished it, I was like, I think that was a great movie. I think I loved it. But I'm not so sure because I just don't know. Like, I love watching movies like this. Right. But, like, because they're hard to remember, I'm not so sure that they're good or not. But I think the time was worth it. I think it's close to a face and a half, maybe. Maybe on a second watch, it'll get that half a face.
Oh, interesting. I give it 3 stars because like I think the time spent watching it was worth it. I don't think I wasted time watching this. I did enjoy it. I like these artsy films, but I can't recommend it unless you're a fan of artsy films. Unless you've seen something like if you know an avant-garde film and you liked it, then maybe you'd be interested in this. I'm trying to think of Nicholas
Requiem.
Well, there's this director. I think it's Nicholas Winding Refn. I can never pronounce his name wrong. I'm so sorry.
That's who I kept on thinking of when I was watching this movie.
Yeah, he did The Drive. He did Drive, Only God Forgives, The Neon Demon. You know, a lot of people know Drive. If you've seen Drive and you're willing to go just a slight bit more weird, then, you know, I think you might enjoy Mandy. Especially if you love Nick Cage.
I enjoyed Mandy more than Only God Forgives. And
yeah, I was not a fan of Only God Forgives.
I do think that I enjoyed that one. If it's the one that I think it is.
I remember, I mean, that's the thing, is like, I don't remember it. I remember like watching it and it having the exact same feeling as I had with this movie. So maybe in 2 years I won't like Mandy. but like, that's just how I remember. I remember watching Only God Forgives and being like, huh, okay, yeah, I guess. You know, and that's kind of how this movie is like, huh, all right, sure. You know, it's very much like Twin Peaks, where it's like, it's out there, man. It's really out there. But I still enjoyed it. At least on the first watch, I still enjoyed Mandy. And I do want to give a shout out to one person before we wrap up here. And that is who the movie is dedicated to. It is dedicated to Johan Johansson, who we've talked about before because he is the composer on Blade Runner 2049. He composed the music for Arrival, Denis Villeneuve for both of those, the director. And as well as you know, a lot of stuff, but he passed away in 2018 before this movie came out, and this was one of the last movies that he scored. And I think that the score is phenomenal here. Yeah, it's very beautiful.
I really think that it built the whole atmosphere. I'm not like, if you imagine this movie naked without sound, it would still be something. It would still be something. But there is a lot of time. There is a lot of times where there is no audio. There's just the score.
And that's really great.
So it is a great score. So I think he deserves the dedication for certain. And also, farewell.
Yeah. It's very sad. He did a lot of good stuff, and I'm happy that they dedicated it to him, because that's a very good thing, because this is a good final score, one of his final scores. Not the final one, but one of. But I think that is the show. A cautious recommendation, only if you like Twin Peaks and films by Nicholas Winding Refn. But thanks for tuning in, guys. I have been the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon. Thank you so much for watching. You didn't watch it. You listened. I guess, you know what? We're getting a shit ton of people listening on YouTube. So I guess they kind of watched it. So thanks for that out there, YouTube viewers. Thank you. Hit that subscribe button. We'd enjoy that.
Yeah.
Safe travels. And good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.